Welcome along to What's the Word in association with Ladbrokes. Yes, everybody, Cheltenham is back. We're going to get to Cheltenham later on in the show. But to preview all this weekend's action, we've got Brendan Duke, we've got Nicola McGeady from our sponsors Ladbrokes, and we've got Brian Sheeran. Of course, I'm David Jennings from the Racing Post. And before we get stuck into the action, we're going to have our quick-fire questions for our panellists. And if you were watching last week's show, you would have seen Brian Sheeran put up a bumper horse, a hurdle horse, and a chaser from Gordon Elliott's stable tour. And the lucky duck this week, he was out with Joseph O'Brien. Oh, Brian, how do you do it? So what we want to know is, what horses he gave you to follow for the season. We want another bumper horse, we want another hurdler, and we want another chaser. Away you go.
So last week, Gordon was sweet on this Hamunderson, who hasn't run. He was entered at Go with on Saturday, 4-year-old unraced Gigginstown horse. And Joseph, would you believe, was giving us a 4-year-old unraced Gigginstown horse.
Go for it.
Eric Bloodaxe. It doesn't get more Gigginstown than that. They love their debt duties and their bloodstone and all
Eric
this kind of...
Bloodaxe, B-L-O-O-D-A-X-E.
Yes, it's a 4-year-old unraced horse by Saint Sant. And Joseph says he doesn't have many top-class bumper horses at this stage, but this is the one that's working better than them all. So that
and was this kind of in private? This was not for publication?
No, Joseph is very straightforward, and you know he gave that as his dark horse, one of his dark bumper horses. So that's very interesting.
Eric Bloodaxe. Okay, who's the hurdler?
The two hurdlers I'll give you is Deluro and Midnight Run, both novice hurdlers. They're not kind of too under the radar, let's put it that way. But Deluro was a horse who cost a lot of money after he won his point-to-point. Burst onto the scene after winning his bumper in April, I think it was back in Punchestown. He looks quite classy, and sure, Midnight Run, he actually gave Invoy Allen a bit of a fright there at Navan one day, didn't he? So
he did.
He's going to be an exciting horse as well. And Fakir Dudaries might be going novice chasing.
Oh, excellent.
So, you know, he'd be getting all the age allowances and things like that. So he could be an exciting one. So
okay, excellent.
They're the four actually I've given you, so you're spoiled.
Well, I'll add to it. Early Doors will win a handicap chase at the 2020 Cheltenham Festival. Last year's Martin Pipe winner, you heard it here first. Okay, Brendan Duke, the flat season is about to finish. So what we want to know is, what was your highlight of the season, first of all, and second of all, what was your punting highlight of the season?
Well, the highlight of the season was Batash, because he's just such a joy to behold, particularly at Haydock in New York. They were two sensational performances, will live long in the memory. And the punting memory, well, I will bring you back to Gold Cup Day in Ascot. You're feeling chills now, Nicola. But I wasn't feeling great at one stage as the runners lined up for the Britannia, because the sun was shining, everyone was backing Frankie, but I was managing to lose money on the day, losing a few quid. So they're going around the parade ring before the Britannia, and I have a tip for a horse in Chelmsford, so I log on with 2 minutes to go to watch the race. The horse has drifted like a barge on there. This project is Donald Duck, and I can barely see it with the glare on the phone, but I see him coming winging down the outside, gets up to win a neck. So that's kind of put the wheels back on, and things are looking good. And then
it's been a pretty bad summer if this has been the highlights of your season.
Well, no, it gets better. So they're going around the parade ring, and I've already backed a Cheveley Park horse in the morning for the race. So I'm just having a look at the parade ring, and I see this biometric, looked an absolute picture, relatively unexposed horse. He looked well, stepping up and tripping. I see he's like 60 on the exchanges, so I said, well, I'll throw a token bet at him. So I'm standing in the stands. The whole of Ascot rises to a man, thinking Frankie's going to roll up the 5-tower. And as they realise Biometric is coming to win, I pipe up and go on the bio! The only person, well, me and the bookies were the only people in the place cheering for Biometric.
Oh my God. So not only is there a poster of Biometric in Ladbrokes shop, there's one in your bedroom. Yeah. There we go. That is a great story. What a couple of minutes for Brendan Duke at Ascot. Nicola McGeady, your question is, and it's time for you to gloat as well. How good was last Saturday for Ladbrokes? Champions Day, first race, huge price winner.
Yeah, couldn't have started any better with a 33-1 shot winning that, because Advertise was the worst result of the day, and we thought if Advertise wins, well, Frankie's probably going to go on a roll, but that didn't happen. It just seemed to be a day where everything went in our favour. Stradivarius getting beaten, messed up the multis, and there was only two favourites winning, Starcatcher and Magical, so not a bad day in the office, but I'm not one to gloat. We have had our fair share of misery at Ascot.
Okay, so you were due a good day. Okay, folks, it's time to look at Saturday's action, and we're going to start with the Vertem Futurity Trophy Stakes, formerly known as the Racing Post Trophy. It's at 3:25 at Doncaster. It's live on ITV4. And Brendan Duke, before we get to the prices, what on earth is going on here? We've only got one horse that isn't trained by Aidan O'Brien in the lineup. What's going on?
Yeah, thoughts and prayers with the English middle distance prospects. Hopefully they see the stars, and the Frankels are just late developing types this generation. It's not ideal. I suppose it doesn't happen very often, so we probably shouldn't worry about it. It's just, it will happen.
And what, like, you can't blame Aidan O'Brien. Only for Aidan O'Brien, there would be no race. So this people giving out about Ballydoyle and how they're dominating everything, at least they have horses to run in the race.
Love Aidan. He loves running horses. That's the thing. Well, he's a student of Jim Bolger. They're not earning that standing in the stable, so get them out and run them. Marvellous,
So you're hoping it's only a temporary lapse?
I imagine so. Like, but I don't know what the story is with the likes of Gosden and Stout. Maybe the horses are just taking a little bit. The 2-year-olds are taking a little bit longer to come to hand.
Okay, well, we hope so. Nicola McGeady, can we get some prices from Labrooks? How short is Mogul?
Yeah, it's not the most exhilarating market. Mogul's 1 to 2, clear favourite, having won a Group 2 at Leopardstown last month. Innisfree's good form in the book as well, has been targeted for this, so I certainly wouldn't be ruling this horse out, and is definitely a more appealing price at 7 to 2. Then you said the only other one who's not an O'Brien horse is Kamiko, who's in there at 11 to 2. Another horse you can make a case for, but to be honest, it's a bit of a dead market.
It is. Brian, I think Mogul will probably win. I know he's very short, but if all the horses were the same price, I'd be back a Mogul. Are you a Mogul fan?
Yeah, I probably would agree with that, but they aren't the same price. So at the prices, I'd be giving Innisfree a chance, because, I mean, people might crib him because he only just does enough, and I think that's just the optimum thing. He just does enough. And, you know, that heavy ground Beresford win looks good, you know, in the context of this race. He is proven on the ground. It's going to get very testing over Doncaster, so...
But on a clear line through Sheckham, he has exactly 3 lengths to find with Mogul.
Yeah, I know that, but...
Did you know that?
Yes, I know he has to step up, but I mean...
You think Mogul, he only just does enough?
Yeah, and I think Mogul obviously did it the hard way, I thought, on Irish Champions weekend. He came around the outside, and he's obviously a very, very smart horse, but 1 to 2 or 2 to 5, whatever he is. I mean, 4 to 1, but Innisfree looks the bet there.
Okay, Innisfree for Brian. Brendan Duke, what wins the Vertum Futurity?
It's very difficult. I'm like you. I think Mogul will win. I mean, you look at the pedigree, and it is a family that tends to favour better ground. And as Brian says, this is going to be nearly bottomless ground this weekend, and he's 1 to 2. So I think you'll see far better 1 to 2 shots than that. I might chance a few quid without on Louisiana. He only won a nursery the last day. He was entitled to win that, but he's a progressive horse. He looks to have bottomless stamina, and he'll handle the conditions. So he's 16 to 1.
20 to 1 at the minute.
He's 20 to 1. So what are you going to be
the
getting?
mark there.
What,
No messing.
What are you going to be getting? 7
For
or 8
one,
to 1
you
with
seem
it?
surprised I've done my job.
Excuse me, he's 20 to 1. What are you on about? He's more than 16s.
You might get 7 or 8 to 1 without.
Okay,
that
excellent.
might tempt me.
So
By the time this goes out, it probably will be 16 and I'll be lucky a fool.
So it's Louisiana each way for Brendan Duke. Nicola, for you?
I'm going to go with Innisfree, actually.
And 2 votes for Innisfree.
for
So
Innisfree,
Brian
yeah.
is an Innisfree fan, and unfortunately, I'm going to play it safe with Mogul. So moving on to the 220 at Newbury, also live on ITV4. It is the Teddington RBL Poppy Appeal Stakes, registered as the St Simon Stakes. It's a Group 3. And Nicola, can we get some prices?
Well, obviously we have the 2 who finished in a dead heat going up against each other in the race last year, Mirando and Young Rascal. There's been a switch in the market. Young Rascal was favoured but drifted out to 11 to 4. Money's coming in for Mirando, who recently won the Cumberland Lodge Stakes at Ascot. So that's probably the best backed in the race. I like Manuela de Vega. Hope, you know, hasn't had a win yet this season, came 4th in the Oaks, but, you know, Rafe Beckett's in good form at the moment, and I think she has a chance at bigger price. She is around the 15 to 2 mark.
Oh, nice each way price. Right, Brendan, we all know where I am with Royal Line, okay? I've been shouting about this horse all year, and I think 1.5 miles, bottomless ground at Newbury, I think Royal Line is potentially a Group 1 horse, and I think Royal Line can prove it here. Am I wrong?
Well, I thought this was such a difficult race. I found it. I couldn't even rule out Spirit of Appin. I thought they all had some sort of a chance in bottomless ground. I think your horse has a chance, and probably the race in Ascot won't have taken a savage physical toll because it was quite a slowly run race.
Beautiful run as well.
Yeah,
Beautiful run.
in the context of this race, he's right there. But I was struggling to rule things out. As a nominal selection, I came down on Mirando, the Fab, brilliant. But he comes out joint best at the weights. Young Rascal has a bit to prove. Mirando's very reliable in these conditions. But I thought it was a really difficult race. I certainly couldn't put you off Royal Line.
Okay, Brian, come on. I need a boost here. Is it Ryline for you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you
no.
were asking me earlier about this young rascal and his record around this place. I mean, obviously that's great and all that, but he's coming here off the back of being gelded and a long absence. So, yeah, Royal Line, I think the more you look at it, I think he travelled into that race last week. If it took a toll, I don't know, but yeah, he looks the one for me.
Track, trip, ground, everything ideal for Royal Line. Get on Royal Line. This, you're going to see what Royal Line is made of on soft ground. He is a beast. So there you go. That is the 220 at Newbury. Moving on to the 250. It's a Cancom Stakes. It's registered as the Horace Hill, as we all know it from years ago. It's a Group 3. And Nicola McGeady, can we get some Ladbrokes prices?
Well, this is the horse I'm looking forward to seeing most this weekend, Kinross, who's already been backed for the 2,000 guineas yesterday, 12-1 from 20-1. This horse just has all the credentials to be a classic horse from what we've seen at Newmarket, beating more experienced rivals by 8 lengths. That was so impressive. 6-5 favourite here. I like the price 6-5. I think this horse should be shorter. The closest rivals Year of the Tiger at 5-1. Are any of these going to oppose Kinross?
Brendan Duke, right? If we hadn't have saw Pinatubo do what Pinatubo did in the National Stakes at the Curragh, I think this will be the greatest juvenile performance we have seen in a long time, this Kinross. That was breathtaking.
Absolutely. It was a fine performance, but this is a very different situation.
Sensing a bit of negativity.
Well, it's a very different situation he's going to face on Saturday. I mean, there was a bit of cutting the ground in Newmarket Granted, but we're talking again in Newbury, heavy ground. And I just wonder, I kind of think Nicola will be disappointed. I don't think he'll show up, but if he does show up...
What do you mean you don't think he'll show up?
Because I don't think they'll risk him in this ground.
As in you think he won't run?
Yes,
okay.
That would be my hunch. But if he does run, I'd be inclined to oppose him with Year of the Tiger, who's a limited horse granted, but he is tough, progressive and ground versatile. And it could be a case of the old dog for the hard road against Kinross.
Okay, that's Year of the Tiger. Brian, Aidan O'Brien's juveniles, we'll obviously see Mogul, we'll see Innisfree. Where would Year of the Tiger rank? Would he make the top 10?
Well, he's actually officially rated, I think, the same as Mogul, isn't he? 108.
Yeah, 108,
so, but he's also run 6 times, so he's fairly exposed at this rate. And you're looking at the potential versus the proven here in Kinross versus Year of the Tiger. And I kind of tend to agree with Brendan, given that the conditions are going to come up so tough. Fair enough, Kinross looked pretty exciting when he won on debut, but what did he beat? We don't know. Year of the Tiger looks pretty solid to me.
Oh, Nicola, what are they doing?
I don't know.
They're not tipping next year's Guineas winner.
Do you know, I kind of, after when you said you don't think Kinross will show up, I just sort of tuned out. I didn't want to hear it.
No. I mean, look, it was a massive performance figure he put up the first day. I hope you're right, because he could be an absolute star. But trainers are very conservative people, and they don't tend to risk their stars in conditions for mud wrestlers.
Nicola doesn't listen to lies. It's all about Kinross. So 2 votes for Kinross, 2 votes for Year of the Tiger. So it's time for the good stuff. Yes, it's Cheltenham. It's back, baby. We're going to preview the 310 live on ITV4. It is the Randox Health Handicap Chase. And what an intriguing clash we have in store here. Nicola, can we get some Ladbrokes prices?
Yeah, Bralin Das has been very popular, backed into 4-1 from 11-2. McGroarty's Richard Newland's, this horse is on to a 4-timer and is the one I like at 11-2. Knocknonus is also in there at 11-2. St. Calvados, who has been being beaten at the top level, might do better in this company. He's had a wind up recently, is in there at 6-1. You're nodding at me like that's the one for you.
You're stealing all my lines.
Sorry.
You've got the wind up in there and everything. Yeah, go on, continue.
That's it.
Yeah, I think St. Calvados. I have a theory on St. Calvados, okay? You know the way Apple's Shade last season, she was absolutely obliterating everything from the front. She bullies horses at this time of year when they're not really fully fit. I think St. Calvados is similar. If you remember last year, he went to Naas, footpad fell at the last, he had footpad beaten. I think when horses are not fully fit, he exploits that. He goes off at a ridiculous pace. They're all taken out of their comfort zone. Now is the time to catch St. Calvados. He's won first time out for the last 2 years in a row. He's got his beloved heavy ground, which is likely to be by the time 310 comes along on Saturday. He's rated 155. I think he can win a handicap on this type of ground off that mark. It's St. Calvados for me, Brendan Duke. Tell me you agree.
I disagree. I would normally be all over the class angle, but I think that horse has a Grand Canyon size hole in him, and also he's going to face massive.
Wind up.
He's going to face massive competition for the lead.
He'll go quicker than that.
But yes, but will he be hoisted by his own petard? So I thought this was again a really tough race, but there's going to be deep ground, massive pace on. So I was looking for something to pick up the pieces. Do it for the village.
Loves Cheltenham, yeah.
Loves Cheltenham. Will have no issues with the ground. Will bring his stamina into play. You have to forgive a disappointing comeback in Chepstow, but you're getting a double figure price, and you're in the forgiveness business, David.
Not anymore. 8
Founding
to 1.
member.
Is that your money?
Yeah, well, 8 to 1. Potato. He's in and around a double figure price. I'll claim that one.
Yeah, we love a bit of forgiveness. Brian Sheeran, what wins the 310 at Cheltenham?
This guy's a bit of a headbanger, but I think Knocknanas can prove the mark of 144 to be pretty lenient in time. We're talking about this helter-skelter pace is going to be on, and you're hoping that it falls apart and that something can come and nab them at the end, but I think that it's going to stay up, and this Knocknanas. With a horse like that, you're going to have to be pretty straight to start your season off. You know, he is, as I said, a bit quirky, but I think he might just prove that mark to be okay.
Okay, so it's one vote for Knocknanos. It is one vote for Do It for the Village for Brendan. And Nicola, are we in the same camp? No, you're a McGroarty fan. One vote for McGroarty and one vote for the winner, which is St. Calvados. Okay, so we've got action all over the place on Saturday. We've got obviously the rest of Cheltenham, the rest of Doncaster, the rest of Newbury. We've also got Irish action at Leopardstown, Galway, and there's also kind of less quality cards at Kelso and Chelmsford. So we'll go to you first, Brian. Have you any winners picked out over those cards?
I'll just run through them. We've got about 4 that I want to just highlight. The 305 Laugh If You Want in the Knock-Air Stakes. I mean, Jerry Keane has had a brilliant season. This lad just loves soft ground, and if it does come up real testing, I know it's a rematch with like Pinchek and Amadea Mugdilani, but I still think Laugh If You Want has more to offer. In the 350 at Galway, Datsy. I mean, he was beaten by Battle Over Dye and over 2 Mile 3, coming back to 2 miles. I think he's an absolute certainty. In the 415, the Airfield Stakes, I think it's going to be all about Justifier. The market, he's going to make the market, but the Graves one is maiden very well for Joseph O'Brien, and I think he can take the step up in that 415. And the 450, Edification, the pony racing legend, as we've labelled him before, Dylan Brown McMonigal. It's a bit of a tongue twister. I think his £10 could prove quite interesting on this Edification. He caught the eye in the big handicap, the Pettingo on Irish Champions weekend. He's been running the Dock recently, and I think he has a nice little pot.
That is a Fahy horse, yeah?
It's a Mark Fahy horse.
Mark Fahy.
Yes.
Excellent.
Good outfit.
So there is 4 for Brian Sheeran, perhaps for Lucky 15 on Saturday. Brendan Duke, anything for us on Saturday?
Yes, I have. The 4:30 in Newbury. Majestic Dawn will be favoured, but he also should be favoured. 5th in the Cambridgeshire, backed that up by being a promising sort of stouts in deep ground in Nottingham the last day. He won't be a big price, but winners always welcome. He should be winning. The 2 o'clock in Cheltenham, Coggery. Good old Coggery. So he's back, a formidable record fresh. Really likes the track. Handicap to win. Won't mind what the ground does. I thought at what will likely be rewarding odds. Granted, there's 20 runners. I thought he had to go close. And there's one of Gavin Cromwell's in the 5 o'clock in Galway, Georgie Shore, an 11-year-old. Do
we know the owner of that horse, perhaps?
Do we?
JW.
It is Mr. Johnny Ward.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. Well, I did not do my research, but Johnny would probably have been very disappointed. Now, it went off 14 to 1, interestingly, in that race in Galway, and was inclined to jump its hurdles a bit big, and that's actually what did for it. It knuckled on landing at the third last, but was really travelling into contention at that stage. This is a weaker race on Saturday, off the same mark. I think the Georgie Shore is primed to win.
We'll be on the blower to Johnny now, finding out after the show. Okie doke, so that is Saturday's action. Before we leave Saturday, I want a banker from each of you. I'll start off in the 220 at Newbury Royal Line. Brian Sheeran?
Will Datsy be long odds on, will he? He probably will.
It's a winner, Brian.
A winner's winner, so Datsy will win.
What time is that race?
That is at 3:50 at Galway.
3:50 at Galway. Tatsy, Nicola McGeady, your Saturday banker?
Well, if Kinross shows up, that's the one for me, so fingers crossed.
Excellent, so that is Kinross in the 250 at Newbury and Brendan Duke.
Winner's a winner, 4:30 Nottingham, Majestic Dawn.
Beautiful, so there are your 4 to follow on Saturday. Moving on to Sunday, and what a race we have in store at Aintree. Yes, it is the Money's Garden Old Roan Limited Handicap Chase. It's a Grade 2, and what a race we have in store. Yes, it is Kalashnikov v Froden. We've also got Forrest Behan in there, and we have got 1 or 2 others who are likely to be fairly popular in the market. Nicola, how did Ladbrokes bet?
Well, price of course subject to change, but Kalashnikov 7 to 4 favourite, gave Amy Murphy her first Grade 1 win at Aintree in April, and just a brilliant horse. This same course and distance, and of course quoted right now for the Ryanair at 16 to 1. That's the dream for her. Frodon had a brilliant partnership, as we seen last year, with Bryony Frost, and is priced at 11-4 for this race, 14-1 to win the Ryanair again. Dan Skelton's got Born Survivor. You know, he's been quite bullish about his chances as well. 6-1, he won twice with him last year in listed handicap, so one to look at as well. You know, you can make a case for so many of them. Forrest Behan, another one for Brian Ellison, who's in great form, we should mention as well, at 9-1. So it's just a cracking race.
Brian Ellison at the minute, he'd train you to have hair, so he's absolutely everything he sends out is winning.
He'd train you to get fit.
Hey. I think he actually might win this race with Forrest Behan. What do you like, Brian?
I think Ladbrokes have this priced up spot on. I think Kalashnikov will win. He's getting about a stone off Frodon. And I think course and distance, grade 1 winner, he'll step up.
Excellent. For you, Brendan?
I'll go for Frodon, just because Nichols, it's a valuable prize, and he's probably more likely to have him primed than Amy Murphy is with Kalashnikov. And he's a very hard horse to pass as well. Ground in material, won't mind the rain. Just I think Frodon might just strip a little bit fitter.
Nicola, have we any Cheltenham festival prices for either Kalashnikov or Frodon at the moment?
You obviously weren't listening to me when I gave them to you 2 minutes ago.
Sorry,
I'll say that again, 16-1 for the Ryanair Kalashnikov, and Frodon's 14.
Just wanted viewers to just make sure they knew exactly what the price was. Okay. So anything else for Sunday, guys? Brendan, we go to you first.
Just one, the 245 Wincanton is a decent staying chase, and this White Moon comes back.
Oh,
he's had his second wind up, which isn't ideal, but he is a horse that when he's good, he's very good, and often when he's good is off the back of a break. This could be the time to catch him. He's dangerously well handicapped. White Moon, 245 Wincanton.
Sunday, Brian?
4 again. Well,
4, that's all right. We can have a Sunday lucky 15.
The 105 at Galway, Mount Ida, I think it's a nice mare for Gordon Elliott, that should win. And the 140, Battle Over Diane. I mean, he's 33-1 for the RSA. I'm not really saying going to get stuck into him tomorrow or on Sunday, but I think 33-1 with Ladbrokes for the RSA could be decent value in time, because you got Sam Crow's probably going to go the GLT route. And then in the 250, did anyone see Wake Up Early winning at Galway for JP?
Did.
And I mean, he stopped to it. He made a bad mistake down the back straight, and he stopped to a walk, and he still won. I think £8 is fair enough. And another JP horse in the 4 o'clock, Fit to Be Tied. Really liked his reappearance under Niall Madden for his father, Niall Boots Madden, and I think that is going to win the 4 o'clock.
Excellent. So there's 4 from Brian Sheeran on Sunday. So now it's time for our 3 for the weekend. Your traditional Trixie, please, Mr. Brendan Duke.
4:30 on Saturday, 4:30 Nottingham Majestic Dawn. Also on Saturday, the 2 o'clock in Cheltenham Coggery, and I'll go Sunday, the 2:45 Wincanton White Moon.
Excellent. Nicola McGeady.
In the big one at Doncaster, 3:25, I'm going to go for Inish Free, 7-2. I'm going to go for Kinross in the Cancom Stakes, 250 at Newbury. And then from Sunday, I'm a big fan of Frodon, so I will be with Frodon in the 3 o'clock at Aintree.
Excellent. Brian, your 3 for the weekend.
Let's just do a Gordon Elliott treble. It's his time of year. He has his horses running well. So the 350 at Galway, Datsy will win. The Mount Ida will win the 105 on Sunday at Galway, and in the 140 Battle Over Diane will boost the prices.
Excellent. Many thanks to my esteemed panel. That has been this weekend's What's the Word. My thanks to Brendan Duke, to Nicola McGeady from our sponsors Ladbrokes, to Brian Sheeran. I've been David Jennings. Cheltenham is back. What's not to like?